Okay, what's up, y'all? This is the first video for the YouTube. God help me. For all 17 of you that are going to see this, I thought it was way easier to put this in video than in writing. So, this is the first part of creating price action triggers. In other words, a price action signal that tells you when you want to buy your calls or buy your puts. We'll get to the details of that later, but for now, it's also kind of like a TA 101 because we're going to go through support and resistance. Yay, the exciting stuff. So, first, I'm going to explain to you how we break it up and what you're going to want to follow before you do any lines. You should just know you start with your weekly, and then you go down to your daily, and then you end at your hourly. And that's kind of you want to go up to down as far as the amount of detail that you get. So first here, I'm going to start with my weekly, explaining to you what we're looking for. Candles that have 2 points that they touch and reverse, or 2 points that they touch that cause support. That's generally what we're looking for, and I'll get into some details on that in a second. So the first one, all right, let's see if we can find our first level of support and resistance on the weekly chart. And we have a winner. So you're going to want to color code these each time. I'm going to go with green for my weekly. It looks kind of ugly, but whatever. So what I'm going to go through is what I'm going to do is look for those points where it reverses, where it tops, where the candles meet. So this is a good example right here. 2 wicks. It's not as good an example as it looked at zoomed out, but let's pretend that this one and this one are the same level for the sake of argument. So I'm going to draw that there. I'm going to make my color default here. So we're going to draw that there at the top of the wicks. That's one of 3 kinds we're looking for. Or actually, I should say 4 kinds. The second one that we're looking for, let me see if I can find an example, is we're looking for not wicks, but where the bodies of candles go at the same point. So of course, I'm probably not going to be able to find one quickly enough here. There you go. I'm going to call this one. I guess while I'm looking for this, I'll talk about current events. Kim Kardashian was spotted out with Pete Davidson, but here's the interesting part. She was wearing Yeezys. So that sucks for Kanye. It also sucks for Pete Davidson too. Okay. I am going to just, I wouldn't say make up necessarily, but I'm going to call these 2 a level right here, just for the sake of argument. So what this one is supposed to be, allegedly an example of, but I don't have time to really find them. This one and this one, just pretend it was a little lower. That would be the 2 bodies of a candle meeting, if that makes sense. So the first kind you're looking for is wicks. The second kind you're looking for touching is bodies of candles. And then there's a third kind, which I actually find more commonly than any of them, which is when a wick, there's a level, when a wick meets with the body of a candle. So what I mean by that is, let me find a good example. What else is in the news? Jerome Powell might get replaced, but they've been saying that for weeks, so I don't believe it. Okay, here, kind of really having trouble finding an example. Okay, this is going to be an example for the sake of getting through this fast. Fuck it. So this one right here, I'm going to place and I'm going to zoom in. So see here, you've got the body of this candle, right? Body of the candle. And you've got it meeting with the wick. So you could have the body of a candle meeting with the wick of another candle, and that counts as a level. You could also do it the other way, going up. I probably find those more commonly than any, but I'm really sucking at finding things right now because, of course, this is a YouTube video, so that's what I'm going to start sucking. Right here, I'm going to call this one too. So you got body, wick, wick. So you're going to go through kind of looking for those body, wick, wick. There we've got wick, wick, wick. So that's a pretty good level. And the other thing that you're going to want to keep in mind is that on the weekly, the levels are stronger than any other, right? It goes up to down. So weekly levels are stronger than daily levels, are stronger than levels on the 4 hour, are stronger than hours on the hourly, or levels on the hourly, if that makes any sense. And then we're going to call this one too for the sake of argument. And I probably should get some more kind of up here so our chart doesn't look weird. When I do make it, that's going to be a level. So I'm going a little fast, I'm not being exact, but I do want to preach exactness. Now here's the fourth one I was talking about, where you have, this one's a little harder to find. You have the body of a candle going up and the body of a candle going down, and they cross at the same level. So to me, that's an important level. You can do it the other way too, down and up and down, it doesn't matter. But if they intersect like that, then that's going to be a level. So those are the only ones I'm going to do for now. I'm going to switch to daily here. And so when you switch to daily, you're going to want to change your color. So that way you don't get confused, because you're going to want to know which levels are most important. So if I see a weekly level, then I know that that might be a really important level. I mean, if I see a daily level, it's important too, but not as important. So I'm just going to go through, do the exact same process. What else is going on in the news? Austria is apparently back into COVID lockdowns. Germany is apparently going to follow them, probably into COVID lockdowns. Honestly, I never thought that we'd be going into more lockdowns again, but it's about to be winter. So shit's going to get real. Okay, there's a level. And I'm going to call this level. Again, I'm playing kind of loosey-goosey because I really have to get through this fast. So you've got your levels now. One thing you can kind of do is see when you switch down to the hourly, remember weekly, daily, hourly, is kind of where you mess some levels up by what the activity is. So for example, I put this one at 124.63 for the weekly, right? But look at that activity above it. So I'm actually going to scoot that up, because that probably is where it is, and I eyeballed it a little wrong if there's that much activity around it. And if not, it's still important, at least for our purposes on the hourly. Really quick, I want to go through one more example so that you can see it doesn't always work out like that, right? So like here, for example, you've got HD, Home Depot, near all-time highs. So when you go out to the weekly, you got nothing but a giant candle. And these candles like way below it. So what do? First, you go to the daily to look for some levels after you see nothing on the weekly. And look at the daily, you get nothing basically too, because the stock has just been a fucking rocket up. Probably from their earnings, they smashed earnings this week. So you're looking at this and you're like, I got nothing on the daily. So then we're going to cheat a little bit. We don't normally use this one, but you're going to go to the 4 hour, see if you see anything. So here on the 4 hour, look, we got a couple different levels we could work with. Not much, but better than what we had, right? So then I'm going to edit properties on that, because again, you always want them to be different colors. So for this one, I'm going to make this bright blue, which is a horrible choice in hindsight, because you can barely see it, but that's what I did. So that's what we're sticking with. So anyway, that's just one example of what you can do. You go weekly, daily, and then instead of the daily and weekly, if you got nothing, you can hit the 4 hour. I mean, right, there's stronger levels in the 1 hour, weaker than the daily. So at least you know it's something that's important that's going on. So when they're scant, when there's not much action, it might look something like this. Then you go down to the hourly. And look, you can see perfectly it identifies with key levels. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points of reversal. Then you see this one up here too. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 levels of reversal. So our 4 hour worked for us on that one. And then we've got TSM was our first one where we didn't need the 4 hour. And next I will do the trend lines later.